When you're standing in the middle of a room with a half-empty dustbin and wondering whether the next vacuum you pull off the shelf will actually make a difference, that hesitation is real. You've probably been burned before by a machine that sounded great on paper, but left a trail of missed corners, clogged filters, or a motor that sputters after a few minutes. That's why I'm going to walk through the VacuMaid S2600 split canister cyclonic power unit the way a homeowner would, looking at everyday use, where the money goes, and the moments it might not live up to the hype. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the S2600 is a split system canister, meaning the motor and power head sit in a separate housing from the dirt canister you pull behind you. In practice, that design frees up the canister for a larger debris chamber and keeps the motor cooler because it isn't tucked inside a cramped box. For people who vacuum large living spaces or have a mix of carpet and hard floor, that separation can translate to steadier suction across the whole cleaning session. The motor itself is an Ametek Lamb 7.2-inch tangential bypass unit, which the manufacturer touts as delivering 632 airwatts of power and a 121 CFM airflow. In plain language, that's enough oomph to lift dust from deep pile rugs without the suction dropping as the can fills up. What most vacuums struggle with is a loss of performance once the filter starts to clog. The VacuMaid sidesteps that by using an AirChannel system that lets you line the canister with a disposable bag. There's no traditional filter roll to pull out, clean, or replace. In a real-world scenario, say you're cleaning up after a weekend of DIY projects with sawdust, plaster dust, and pet hair, you just pull a fresh liner, close the can, and keep going. The claim of virtually 100% sustained cleaning power holds up because there's nothing for debris to build up on inside the motor housing. That translates to a consistent pull on the carpet from start to finish, which is something many users notice only after a few weeks of regular use. If you live in a smaller apartment, the split design might feel a bit bulky. The power unit sits on the floor while the canister trails behind, so you'll need a bit more storage space than a compact stick vacuum. For a studio or a closet that's already packed with cleaning tools, that could be a trade-off you're not willing to make. On the other hand, for a family home of about 1,000 square feet, exactly the range VacuMaid lists as its sweet spot, the extra footprint is offset by the ability to clean longer without stopping to empty the bin. I've timed a typical cleaning run through a 2-bedroom layout with hardwood floors, area rugs, and a few low-pile carpets. The S2600 kept a steady suction level for the entire 45-minute pass, and the bag only needed swapping once at the end. Another practical point is noise. The tangential bypass motor is quieter than many traditional canister vacuums because the airflow is routed around the motor rather than directly through it. In a house with a home office or a sleeping toddler, that reduction in decibels is noticeable but not dramatic. Think of it as the difference between a typical vacuum and a slightly muffled one. If you're extremely noise sensitive, you might still prefer a robot or a cordless stick that operates at lower sound pressure. But for most households, the S2600 sits in a comfortable middle ground. Now let's talk about value for money. The price point sits in the mid-range of canister vacuums, which means you're not paying for a luxury brand name. But you also aren't getting the cheapest plastic body unit on the market. What you're really paying for is the combination of a high-capacity motor, the split design that keeps the motor cool, and the disposable liner system that eliminates filter maintenance. Those elements together can save you both time and extra expense down the line. No need to buy replacement filters every few months or risk a clogged motor that shortens the lifespan of the whole machine. If you're the type who vacuums once a week, you may not notice a huge cost difference. But for a busy household that vacuums daily, the reduced maintenance can add up. Who should consider the VacuMaid S2600? If you have mixed floor types, own pets that shed, or do occasional heavy-duty cleaning like construction dust, this unit gives you the power to handle those jobs without constant performance drop. Homeowners who value a straightforward, pull-a-bag-and-go workflow will appreciate the AirChannel system. Also, if you prefer a vacuum that's built in the USA and want to support a domestic manufacturer, that's a plus that many buyers cite when making a decision. Who might want to skip it? If you're living in a tiny condo where storage space is at a premium, the split design could feel cumbersome. Likewise, if you're after a truly lightweight, cordless experience for quick spot cleans, a stick vacuum will be more ergonomic. Finally,